Badgerland, happy Tuesday. I'm super excited to be here with you all today. My name is Lexi, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a craft. Crafting is one of my favorite Girl Scout traditions, and it's something that I do in my day-to-day life. It's really great to get out your creative side and just be able to have some fun making something with your hands at home. And so today, just to kind of keep things a little bit easier so we can have as many people participate as possible, I wanted to make sure that I did a craft where you can just use materials that you might have around your house. What's going to be great about today is we're going to be using some recycled materials, and as we know, Girl Scouts always use resources wisely, and I know with everything going on, a lot of people have been stocking up on toilet paper, so hopefully you all have some toilet paper rolls at your home, and we can get started, and I can show you how to make these awesome puppy puppets. To start out with, I'm just going to show you one that I have already made. That way you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. We'll get him a little untangled here because he's having a little bit of a rough time, but here is what my puppy puppet looks like. The first one that I did, you can see he's gray, he's got some spots on him. So now that we've kind of seen what the puppy puppet looks like when it's all done, by the way, if you really want a tongue twister, you can try to say puppy puppet 10 times really fast. It's really hard, but we are going to get started making the actual puppy puppet. And so to do this, I thought there was a few different ways to do it, and luckily I made one yesterday, so I kind of was able to see what the best technique was and everything. To start out with, we're going to start from the top down. And so the top of your puppet, you're actually going to need to make something in the shape of a cross, because that's where the strings for your puppet are going to go, and you're going to hold the cross, and that's how you move the puppet and how you're going to be able to make him run, make him shake his head, all that sort of thing. So you can use a lot of different materials to make a cross. I know that in some of the crafts I've seen online, I've seen people using popsicle sticks. That's great if you have some of those, or you can use pencils, pens, any sort of thing that you have lying around. So I just grabbed some pencils, and I'm going to show you how to just stick them together. You could do this with glue, but if you're using pencils that are kind of round, you might just want to tape them together. That's what I found is the easiest, so I'll show you how to do that. I just grabbed some colored pencils that I have. So what you're going to want to do is you'll make a cross like this. And usually what I've been doing is I just lay it flat on a table or a surface in front of me. And then what I'm going to do is I will point you down here just so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of tape. It doesn't have to be super long or anything like that, but I'm going to make a cross, and I'm going to kind of make an X with the tape, a cross. See? Like that. And then I'll make a cross on the other side to actually form the X. And kind of stick them together there. Awesome. So now we have a cross. So that's going to be the top of our puppet. But for right now, we're going to set this aside because we're not going to need this again until we put the whole puppet together. So I will set this over to the side right now, and we will move on to the body of the puppet. We will be using strings to connect everything at the end, but for now, we're just going to focus on making the body. So to make the body of your puppy puppet, you will need to have 2 toilet paper rolls, or you can just do a paper towel roll and cut it in half. Basically, you're just going to need to have 2 parts, so 2 cardboard tubes. So I have already split up my cardboard tubes. So I actually had a paper towel roll, so I cut it in half. And so this long part here is going to be the body of the puppy puppet. And as you can see, I had some paint lying around, so I actually have already decorated my puppy puppet. And made him gray. And you can decorate however you want. That's the really fun part about this craft is that you can make your puppy pink, you can make your puppy green, maybe you want to put some stars on him, maybe you want to put some polka dots on him. You can do whatever you want with your puppy. You can really get creative. So this will be the body, the long part, so we'll set that aside. And then the shorter part will be the face and then the ears. So I have already cut this portion. So I started out with one that was long like this, and then I cut it in half. And so one half is going to be the face. So that's going to go on like this and be the face eventually. And then the other half is actually going to just be something that we're going to cut into the ears. So these used to be together. And so this one we're just going to cut into ears right here. So the other half of the toilet paper roll we're going to flatten out like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make ears by sort of drawing the figure 8 onto here. So let me grab my special pink pen. And what I'm going to do on here is I'm actually just going to do half of an 8. So I'll kind of show you what I draw on here. All right, so this is the shape that I drew. And I'm doing it as half of an 8 because this is going to have 2 sides because it's 2 layers there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this shape here. We're not going to cut down here. We're just going to cut around, and then it's going to make sort of a figure 8, and that's what we're going to use to make our ears. So let me do that real quick. All right, so that's all cut out. And as you can see, I have this right here, but when I open it up, it does kind of look like the figure 8. So this is what's going to be our ears for the dog. So I have my face right here, and then we're going to put this on, and he's going to have little ears, little floppy ears that hang down like that. So these you're going to color too. So you can definitely take some time to do that right now. You can decorate and get that all taken care of. And then once that's done, we will go ahead and we will kind of put everything together. All right, so now I have all 3 of my finished pieces. I've done decorating. So what I have is I have my body. I'll set that right there. I have my face, which I just drew a little puppy face on there. We'll put him right here. And then we have the last piece, which is the last part that we cut out, and that is the 8, and those are going to be the ears. So now with either glue or tape, we can start kind of assembling the body. And then lastly, we'll kind of string everything together, and then we will have our puppy puppet. So right now, I'm just going to take some pieces of tape, and I'm just going to kind of tape everything together. You can use glue if you'd like to, whatever works best for you. I'm just going to take off a couple pieces of tape, and I'm going to connect them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of connect them like this, and then I'm going to take a piece of tape right there and fold it over so that they're connected like this, and the head can go up and down. Because we want our head to be able to move just with the puppet. It's going to go up like this, and you can knot it and everything like that. So that's what we're going to do to begin with. And then the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the ears. And for this, what you're going to want to do with this top part right here is you're actually going to want to bend it down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the front part and I'm going to kind of push it in a little bit like that. And that's just going to create a surface so that you can tape your ears to that. So now that I have it bent in a little bit like this, I'm going to take my ears and I'm just going to tape them right there. Awesome. So now the puppy's ears are on, and you can kind of bend them or however you want to do it just to make them look a little bit floppier, that sort of thing. So now our ears are on our puppy, and we have the body. So the next part is we are going to add legs to our puppy, and you can do this a few different ways. We are going to be using string to kind of string everything together at the end. So you could just use some string and attach the legs, or if you've got some pipe cleaners lying around, I've noticed that those work really well too. So I'm going to show you both ways. That way, whatever you have lying around, you can use that. So first, let me grab some string. So I'm just going to take just a little short piece of string, maybe even as long as a finger, or as long as my hand. We'll make it about that long. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it over, since the puppy's going to have 2 legs. I'm going to take the string that I cut, and I'm going to tape it in the middle of the string to the bottom of the puppy. All right. So as you can see, when that's done, the puppy has legs on the front part. And they're a little wiggly, but that's okay. Those are kind of fun to play with and to have them walk with. So that's what the legs look like if you just use the string. And I'll also show you how to do it using pipe cleaners. The pipe cleaners work a little bit better just because they're a little bit thicker and they make the legs look a little bit more substantial. But you can definitely do it with whatever you have at home. That's the great thing about this craft is you can really use whatever you want. So I have a pipe cleaner as well, and I'm just going to cut off just a small end of it, maybe not even halfway. And then I'm going to put this one in half too, and just tape it the same way I did the other legs. So we'll hold our head up a little bit. I'll kind of arrange the legs. And you can see we've got the legs on the back end here too. So this is what the puppy puppet will look like when it's not all stringed up. As you can see, my head keeps kind of flopping down, but he'll be up and awake when we string him up all together. So once you have the legs, you can certainly add other extras. You can add a tail if you want to. You can add other little pieces. You can have a tongue sticking out in the front, whatever you want to do. But now we're going to do the final step, and that is to string everything together. And that'll be the part where you'll be able to finally move your dog, and you'll be able to make him run around and things like that. So once we're done, I really hope that all you girls decide that you want to put on a little show for your family. If any of you have been doing the Badgerland at home patch, one of the steps in the Be Creative section is actually to make a sock puppet at home. We could definitely use our puppy puppet in place of that because you're being creative with this project. Otherwise, if you want to be extra creative and be a super go-getter, you could do a sock puppet as well, and you could do a little production of your own at your house and use your puppy puppet and your sock puppet. I'm sure your parents would all love to see a show that you all put on. So let's go on to the last step and let's string everything together. All right, so once we are all done decorating our puppy, as you can see, I added a little tail to mine and he's got a face and everything like that. We're gonna do the final stringing. That way our puppy will be something that we're able to move around and have a lot of fun with. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna set our puppy down and we are going to get out our string again. So I have some yarn here in my lap. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cut a long string because that's what the puppy's going to hang from. You can do the string as long or as short as you want. We're just going to want to make the string equal in length. So what I've kind of been doing is I've just been going around my head and making it as long as the crown around my head is. So I've got a long string here and I'm just going to cut a second string that's the exact same length. All right, so once you have your two strings, the first string we are going to use and we are going to attach it to the back end of your puppy. And so right where if you put the tail, I'm going to tape my string down right in front of it. And as you can see, he's taped, so now he has a string coming up for that. And then the other part, you're actually going to tape to the head of your puppy, but to the back of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the end of our string and we're going to kind of line it up with the back side of the head, and that's where we're going to tape it right there. So I'll do that. All right. So now, if we take both the strings that we used, and we hold them up, we can see that our puppy's starting to come to life, which is awesome. His legs got a little wonky, but that's okay. He can always be fixed. All right, so now that we have our puppy strung up, all we have to do is tie the strings to the cross that we made at the beginning. So let's put him down, and let's take this cross. And you can either tape the ends of the string to the cross or you can tie it, whichever works best for you. And chances are that this one that's attached to the head, the string's going to be a little bit longer. So you're going to want to tie it a little bit shorter. That way the strings are equal. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, so I've got one side done. Then I'm going to do the other side. So for this one, I'm going to use the orange pencil for both, just because you want them to be directly opposite each other. All right, so once you're done stringing it, you can just kind of experiment with your puppy, and you can use the string, and you can see if there's any changes you need to make. So I can see that my back string, I'm having to hold up the cross really high. So I know that the back string needs to be a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to adjust that right now. All right, so once your strings are all attached to your cross, your puppy will be all set to go. So as you can see, his head is up, he's smiling, he's got his legs, he can run around, he's even got his tail kind of kind of up in the back. And actually, if you girls want to experiment, I'm just showing you how to do it with 2 strings, but some of the marionette puppets that you see with professional puppet companies, they have tons of strings. So if you want, you could always attach a string to the back. You could attach one to his tail to make him wag. You could do lots of different things. You could even maybe attach some to his ears and make his ears go up and down. That's something that's really fun, and that's the great thing about this craft is that you can do lots of different things. I'm showing you how to make a puppy today, but maybe you want to experiment. Maybe after you make a puppy, you want to make some other sorts of animals. Maybe you want to make a kitty. Maybe you want to make a cow. I don't know if some of you live on farms. I know that's where I grew up. That would have been really fun. Feel free to make whatever changes you would like, but you've got a great base here to start out with, and hopefully you have some fun playing with your puppy around the house today. And we hope that you guys tune in for all of our other videos that we have coming from Badgerland. We're all really enjoying getting to do these activities and having you girls follow along at home. Have a happy Tuesday. Bye!